Chad, let's talk big data. It seems like you can't open the paper today without seeing the term thrown around. It's here to stay, and it's big, and it's going to get bigger. What's Adaptive going to do to keep pace?
One of the things that we've really noticed about big data is, in large part, it's not necessarily something new. It's just that it's getting a lot more attention and it's becoming more widespread. Our larger customers, our larger research institutions, as an example, have been doing big data on terabytes and petabytes worth of data for decades. That said, the thing that has changed is it's becoming much more widespread. It's not just the largest of the large now that are dealing with petabytes of data. Even medium-sized and in some cases small-sized organizations are dealing with this very large amount of data. We bring order to that data by combining it with your compute capacity and making sure that the right data is available at the right time in the right place when you want to compute on it. If you think about it, it's the old needle in a haystack problem, right? If you've got a petabyte of data and you need to do some computation on that, you need to make sure that you're bringing the right amount of data, the right kind of data, the right part of the data into the compute cluster at the right time so that you can find that needle.
I see. So as far as your Hadoop customers, how do you manage that part?
So Hadoop's an emerging area where it's an interesting growth. Hadoop really started in the web world where people were analyzing web logs and that sort of thing. Now being used for all sorts of things, including scientific computing as well as business computing and other sorts of applications. But our goal is to really make sure that we're bringing our scheduling technology and our policy-based optimization into these different areas, whether it be Hadoop, whether it be cloud computing, whether it be traditional HPC. Our technology looks at all the constraints in the situation and then optimizes that to make sure that the data is in the right place, that the compute's in the right place, and that utilization is as high as possible. So we see big data proliferating. We see more and more types of organizations and more sizes of organizations dealing with it. In the old days, 5-10 years ago, which seems like a long time now, but in the old days, it was really only certain types of organizations that even had that kind of size of data sets. Nowadays, all sorts of things are generating data. Think about all the clicks you make on websites. Those clicks are being captured by these websites and by the different providers, generating terabytes per day of data just from web data. But at the same time, there's point-of-sale data in retail. There's all sorts of experimental data in pharmaceuticals or in other sorts of technical computing environments. There's test data in manufacturing. So all across the different spectrum, there is more and more data being produced. It's cheap to store. Hard disk storage is almost free these days.
Right.
So it's really cheap to store, and now people are just collecting all this data. The trick is getting it analyzed and being able to make intelligent decisions based on that. That's where we can help, because we can make sure that your compute environment and your storage environment are tightly linked and that we're taking advantage of those big data opportunities.